What's up, everybody? My name is Kevin. I'm a real estate agent in Northern Colorado, and I think we're coming into a time where people are really going to hate real estate. And here are 3 reasons why I think so. But first, shout out to Steve Daria for putting this idea in my head. Go check out his channel, the link's in the description. All right, so here we go. In no particular order, here are the reasons why people are going to hate real estate coming into this next season. Number 1, the momentum of the market has stopped. If you bought a house in the last 12 months, you went through the ringer. You were looking at houses within 15 hours of them coming on the market. You were offering over list price. That list price was probably already inflated. You were waiving appraisal, inspection, and throwing your firstborn child in the mix. It was not a fun ride, but you finally got a house. And now the market has changed and people are getting houses for under asking price. So does that suck? Yep. And a lot of other people agree. Check out this article. This is from CNBC. 72% of recent home buyers have regrets about their purchases. And if we scroll down a little further, the number 1 reason for buyer's remorse, 30% of respondents said they spent too much money. The median amount paid over the listing price was $65,000. That means that the majority of people that bought a home recently paid $65,000 more than what the seller was asking for. Yikes. Now, the second most common regret was rushing the home buying process, which makes total sense. We would be looking at a house within 8 hours of it coming on the market, writing an offer that night, waiving appraisal, doing minimum inspection, all just in the hopes of competing for that house. Most offers would also include a quick close, so we would close in like 25 days or less. So you want to talk about rushing the process? Yeah. But during that time, that's what you had to do. If you wanted a house, you had to do those things. So now you've finally gone through the ringer. You are in the house, you're done with all the stress, and you're hoping that you're going to continue to ride this wave of house price just continuing to go up and up and up. But what happens? They go the opposite direction. And so it can be so easy in that moment to be so frustrated, not only with the process and all the sacrifices you had to make, but ultimately with real estate itself. Because you start to think, it's not reliable. It ended up costing me a lot of money. I don't want anything to do with this in the future. So that's number 1. The second reason why people are going to hate real estate is basically the flip side of that story. Sellers are now getting a lot less for their house. Your neighbor 3 doors down with the same exact floor plan just sold their house for $500,000 2 months ago, and you decided to list at $500,000, but now you've been on the market for 45 days with 2 showings. So what happens? You decide to reduce the price a little bit, but it ends up being too little, too late. You go another 2 weeks, you get maybe 1 showing, and you decide to reduce the price again. But what happens is you end up chasing the market down. If this is market value for your home and you're here, by the time the market drops even a little bit more and you do a price reduction, you're still above market value. And so it just ends up going like this, which just adds to the frustration of the entire process. Look at this chart. This chart's from Fred, always a great resource. But this is the count of price reductions in the US. So basically the amount of homes that have done price reductions. We start looking in about April of 2022, we just get this huge spike. But we're almost all the way through August, and this graph only goes through July. And I can tell you that our local market here is continuing to see a lot of price reductions. So when this graph gets updated in August, this line's going to continue to just go up. And so now sellers feel like they missed their window of selling their house. And if they do actually have to sell to move for a job or any other reason, they now feel like they lost out on $50,000+, which again, just adds to the frustration of the entire real estate process. Okay, so we've got number 1, buyers buying at the top of the market. Number 2, sellers not being able to sell their home for as much. And the last one is debt is becoming too expensive. The Federal Reserve will raise interest rates again. There's some recent debate as of today, August 26th, that it's going to be higher than we originally thought because the Fed still wants to get a greater hold on inflation. So they're going to raise interest rates even higher. And that will ultimately affect how expensive it is to borrow money. Now, the federal funds rate is different from mortgage rates. It's not necessarily a 1-to-1 ratio. If the federal funds rate goes up, that doesn't necessarily mean that mortgage rates are going to go up. But regardless of all of that, if mortgage rates do follow suit with the federal funds rate increasing, it's going to be even more difficult to buy a house. So if you're watching this and you're a first-time home buyer and you're like, awesome, number one doesn't apply to me because I didn't buy a house at the top of the market, and number two doesn't apply to me because I don't have a house to sell, number three is probably still going to be a barrier. So you've been waiting and waiting and waiting for the chance to finally jump in the market and get your first house, but now interest rates are going to be at 6.5%, 7%, and it's just going to be too expensive to buy a house. So all three of those things are happening right now at the same time, all at once, piled on top of each other, and there are going to be a lot of people that look at real estate after this and say, nope, not for me. It was too emotionally stressful. I lost a lot of money. It wasn't worth it in the end, and they'll avoid real estate like the plague. But do you know what that smells like to me? Opportunity. When is the best time to invest? When there's lots of fear in the market and you don't have a lot of competition. We are coming into a great time to start building your wealth with real estate. It's not going to be easy. There's probably going to be a lot of people that are backing out and saying, oh, you're crazy to do that. But if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And you'd have so much competition that you wouldn't even be able to do it. So if you have ever wanted to start building your wealth with real estate, you need to do three things. Increase your income, increase your savings, and get educated. Increase your income, increase your savings, and get educated. I think this winter is going to be a great time to buy real estate. So you've got 2 to 3 months to prepare. So make it happen. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time.